Getting out on the water this early in the morning is fantastic. Usually the wind is down, it's really flat, there's nobody around but us and the birds and the dolphins. So it's really peaceful, really quiet, a great way to start the day. This is one of the cleanest parts of the bay. So on days when there's no clouds and the sun is high, when we're coming in and out, you'll see when we get out here, there's blues and greens and people think it looks like the Bahamas and they have no idea that this part of the bay is so clear. So it's a perfect location. It's beautiful. We don't have any houses, we don't have any industry around here. It's all in an aquatic preserve, so it's protected. So we don't have any of that to deal with. And you know, if you turn around and you look and like, this is your office, no walls, really, we can turn the phone off and no one really gets in touch with us. We can do whatever we want in peace and quiet, and so it's really awesome. We can see, most days we can see 8 to 10 feet deep down here. So oysters will clean water, so they're filter feeders. So they filter up to 50 gallons a day per oyster. So when they have good water flow, like we have a lot of good water flow out here, they'll clean up to 50 gallons of water a day. What we do out here is we have these big long lines that run east to west. So all the cages are connected here, so they can float freely up and down with the tide in and out. So and what that does is gives the oysters in there time to they get to bounce around and bounce off each other, and what that does is helps them shape their shell. Perfect. Everything. All right. Ooh. We get a lot of stone crabs that like to try and get in here and eat. They love oysters. So these have been out there, we put these out in June. So when we put them out in June, they were the size of our fingernail. And now they're 2 3/4 to 3 inches. Some are smaller, but. Look at that guy. This started about the shape of, size of your fingernail, like you're saying, in late June. And so we're at 4.5 months into it, and it's already grown this big. So the most striking part is when you put them in when they're little and how quickly they grow.
So when we're checking for quality, we'll pick them up. You want to tap it a couple times, make sure it doesn't sound hollow. And then we'll take a knife or paint scraper and we just scrape all the barnacles off the shell. Make it look real pretty so you guys can have it on your plate. End goal is to have them look pearly white, perfectly clean, no barnacles or anything like that growing on them. Just the oyster, that's all you want. And so I'm the head of quality control because I love to eat the oysters. Flavor is really briny up front, not too briny, really fresh. And then you still get that sweet taste at the end that we love with the Calusa oysters. So really fresh, briny, clean, and sweet finish in there at the end.
One thing people don't realize is there's a huge history of oysters in the bay. There was a guy in somewhere in the 1800s who worked for the Department of the Interior, and he said that he had been all over the country and all over the world, and when he got here, he said that it looked like from up on high that God had spread oysters to the left, to the right, and as far as he could in front of him. and produce some of the best tasting oysters and the best oyster bars in the world. So we are slowly working on helping bring that back to the Bay. So we're gonna pull some more of these that are a little bigger and a little more ready to go. We'll take them in, we'll harvest them, we'll get them all cooled down, and we'll get them over to Ocean Ink, and they will be on your plate in seconds.
Hey, what's going on, my man?
Fresh off the boat.
Oh, okay, my man.
This
Appreciate you.
The
What's going on?
first,
How you doing?
that's the
Good.
first harvest of the new babies. So brand
new
new,
babies.
nobody else is having them, y'all got them first.
I like being the
So,
first in everything we do.
exactly, they're first, just
All
off the boat today.
All right, my man. Well, I'll catch you next week.
Cool, all right, see you then.
Appreciate you.
All right.
Well, when I pick up the oysters, I normally just take them to the back. I kind of sort through them, and then I rinse them off just to make sure we're getting all the loose dirt and just any kind of particles that's on it, because you know no one wants to eat a oyster with a bunch of dirt on it. So I try to make sure they're as clean as possible. And then once I clean them and rinse them off, I bring them out here. We actually label and date them, and then we put them out for display. So we have some in our cooler, so people can actually sit at the bar and actually watch what's going on as the guys are shucking them. And then we also put some in my cooler behind me, so they're always on display.
So Ocean Ink came from two places. The first one was we love to fish, big game fish, catch wahoo and things like that. And when you're on the boat and you just cut it up raw and fresh like that, it's just amazing. So part of it was wanting to share that experience with people. And then the second one is from Charleston, South Carolina, where we do everything local there.
I'm actually building one of our seafood towers, which has the Visagi shrimps in it. We also have the stone claws on it. There it comes with the smoked fish bread, a little Clio, which right now we're having a shrimp ceviche, some pickled vegetables. We have a in-house made cocktail sauce, a mignonette, and then we also do an in-house mustard sauce for the claws.
Most importantly, I say not all ingredients are created equal, especially when you do seafood. I think it's important for people to understand we can buy seafood from all over the world, locally or really locally, hyper-locally. And I felt like Ocean Ink wanted to share some of the hyper-local stuff. And more importantly, we actually have a little bit of both sides of the spectrum on the menu. It gives people an opportunity to see the truth in not all ingredients are created equal.
My favorite way to serve the oyster, I love serving them straight out the water as raw as possible, because that gives you all the true flavors of it. I mean, because once you start adding a lot of different things to it, it kind of takes away from the actual flavor of the oyster itself. So you don't want to hide that, you actually want to highlight that. Yes, when it comes to dealing with the local oysters, this one specifically would read, it's a cleaner looking oyster. The shell looks cleaner, the flavor's more vibrant versus me getting like, say, a Gulf oyster.
So sourcing locally is important because obviously I believe we get it here fresher, we get it here faster, and it supports the community beyond our guests. Supporting our local community, doing the fishing, doing the farming is very, very important. I think diners gain a different level of trust knowing where the food comes from. I certainly would. I tend to look at menus and know if they know that's going to say it somewhere on the menu, and it makes me feel better about dining there.
I've never seen an oyster this fresh before, personally, and I'm from South Carolina, where I see a lot of oysters my whole life. So this is very good to deal with him, because he brings them to me perfectly out the water. So.
So right here is where we count the shrimp when it comes off the boat. And then we use a 2-pound count, and that gives us the grade. And then we wrap them up, weigh them. And then what's gonna happen with these headless shrimp is we're gonna keep these, because we can sell these here locally. So we're gonna put them in our coolers, and we'll sell them out the fish house. The legacy that our family established starting out in 1912 and still kicking in 2025 is 4 generations for our family. It means a lot. Our family came from Sicily and started, almost some would say pioneering what the Gulf shrimp fishery is today. I've got a son and 2 daughters. If we could see a 5th generation, that would be pretty special. It'll be a fight, but it's something I think, if we can keep persevering and keeping it going, then we'll do it. In the fish house, we sell as many shrimp as we can, obviously direct to consumer. The restaurants that buy from us, this is where we'll pull from their shrimp. So this is just something for us to sell. And then we keep the bigger headless stuff. So that's what's going on right now. But we're looking for quality. We're looking for black spot. These are headless shrimp, so we want to make sure that they're completely, headed correctly. And I can tell just by looking at these that, they were frozen correctly. You're looking for quality and you want to make sure that they did their job right on the boat, which they usually do. You only shrimp at night, okay? So on the stern of this boat right here is a brine tank, and it's got a brine solution in it. So once they dump the shrimp on deck and they grade them out by size, in order to freeze them, they have to flash freeze them. And then they flash freeze in about 7 minutes. So once they're flash frozen, they hook them out, they let the water drain out, and then it goes down into a freezer hold, which, is about 12 below. But they obviously did their job well here. It's gonna work out well. We're no different than the farmers. We provide a protein. What we can provide is probably a drop in the pan, but it's important because it keeps fishermen fishing, and it's a culture worth saving. We don't sell anything that's not wild harvested, domestically sourced. So locality for us is everything. It's why we go fishing.
And I work king crab in Alaska. I've worked 10 years up in the North Atlantic sea scalloping, but I've also shrimped intermittently and all in between all of that. Whatever I can do, wherever I feel like living, just kind of adventure. But there's a bunch of us, hardcore fishermen there. We're going to hang on, we go as long as we can. This is a food source. We manufacture it, We bring it in. It's on us.
I'm a big fan of what we do, and I'm pretty proud of it. And I just know that once people get our product and they taste it and they try it and they touch it and they see it and they smell it, they're like, oh, wow, I'm going to do this again. I'm having a hard time keeping up with the demand locally. So that's a good thing. So Chef John and Epicurean came down here on a whim. What I always say is if restaurants are interested in procuring and sourcing the best ingredients, it starts at the chef level. And Jonathan's the epitome of that.
I saw a cooking commercial for culinary school. I was working for a doggy daycare company, and I was like, I need to do something with myself. So I was like, I can cook, right? I think it'd be kind of fun to learn that. My favorite thing is gotta be the intensity, being in the mix and trying to get food out properly and quickly and together, but like that chaos is kind of like what I look for. Local, in my mind, means fresher, but like especially with seafood, obviously you want something that's been out of the water the least amount of time. It's the most important. I was introduced to Justin through a mutual friend. His passion is what kept me going, and it's still the only shrimp I buy for myself. Still, flavor and texture are the two most prevalent. Because his are so fresh, and then you get them and then use them almost immediately, that texture and sweetness, you can't beat it. I would definitely build anything around a really good ingredient if I wanted to use it. Absolutely, and hence the shrimp and grits going back on the menu. There's a lot of stuff that comes along where you feel like a chef has that aha moment. Having his shrimp was one of them. I've just never turned back. On the first bite of the shrimp and grits, it's got to be that wow. Because you can't fake that, so I want that to be almost like an explosion and then go for more. So it's the genuine wow response. I guess that's what I'm looking for. So the process of our shrimp and grits, you're going to start with bacon. Get that bacon going. Once you get all that fat rendered, you're going to add your shrimp, and then you add your shallot, your garlic, peppers, onions. Now you got to be quick because you don't want that shrimp to overcook. And then we add a touch of butter, a little bit of cream. Then we hit it with what's like almost like a shrimp bouillon. It's a shrimp stock that we take all the way down so it's almost like mud. And we mount it with that a little bit. So now you're getting all this shrimp flavor, not just from the shrimp, but also throughout. Put it right on top of the grits. We add a little poached egg to it. And that's it, really.
I started my restaurant career here 23 years ago. And then I went off to Charleston, South Carolina, who is uber local. And it's just very exciting to bring that here where it's starting to come to be here in Tampa Bay. And it's just what made Charleston so unique. And now it's coming to Tampa, my hometown, I feel like. So it just makes it more exciting. I think what's so exciting about Tampa Bay's food movement right now is that it's been around for quite a while, but it seems like right now it's really starting to bud. It's just going to make Tampa an incredible place to eat.
I believe in what we're doing. It's a culture worth saving. It's pride, you know. It's knowing that we're putting something on your plate that we can stand behind, that we know is sourced, you know, and held to the highest standard.
Out here, it seems it may sound odd to say, but it's kind of like art. So there's a lot of work that goes into how often we touch them, how often we tumble the oysters, how much work we put into them. But when you see people eating it and they're smiling and they're cheersing with the oysters and things like that, you know, it's kind of that payoff that I think, you know, probably a visual or a musical artist feels when they, you know, all of a sudden they see people dancing to their music or, you know, staring at their, you know, at their work. We took something that looked like a little shell the size of a grain of sand and grew it to some 3 inches that people like and eat and want more of. It's tough to beat that.